Hello everybody, my name is Monster Dust and welcome back to YGO Pro. Today we are going to be testing out my Zefra deck very quietly because everyone else in my house is asleep and I would rather not ruin their night by waking them up. So we're just going to jump right into the duels. And yes, I'm using a Zefra deck. They're not really that great of a deck. They're not exactly like the best thing you could be running, even for a Pendulum deck, but I've had fun with them in the past. They're actually pretty cool. They're pretty decent. Alright, we already have quite a bit we can do here. So we're just going to, actually for now we're just going to set Hedgehog and call that good, because when they attack Hedgehog, we're going to be able to add Shaddoll Fusion to hand. And then next turn we're going to use Falco and, going up against Dracos. Okay. That one. Next turn, when we get Shaddoll Fusion to hand, we're going to be able to create either El Shaddoll Anoiatalis, I believe is how you pronounce that, or El Shaddoll Grista. Either way, we're going to be pretty good. Maybe even something better depending on what I draw next. But anyways, I have never gone up against the Draco Pals deck before. This will be my first time going against this deck. I've heard that it's not as ridiculous as the Pepe deck was, but it's really good from what I've heard. Just their turns always take forever, man. Oh man, he's already going for some kind of crazy rank 4 play or something. What does he do when he's special summon? Ooh, he's gonna add Perform Pals to his hand. I'm assuming Joker? Probably. Ooh, Trump Witch. Why? Ooh, I know exactly why. He's getting out of that polymerization because he's going to fusion summon into Dinoster. Yeah, called it. Now I don't. Ooh, that is not Dinoster. What are you? That's actually a pretty good card. Sounds like anyway. Unaffected by monster effects, so spell effects can actually destroy him, it sounds like. Alright, so what do we do? Ooh, Decisive Armor. That's pretty cool. Alright, so I think what we want to do is go ahead and Shaddoll Fusion. Using, of course. Ooh, he's gonna warning. Okay, that makes this just slightly more difficult. This might not be the best idea, but we're just going to go ahead and set Falco and try to get out Shaddoll Fusion next turn. Go ahead and end for now. And, you know, that's not exactly that risky. Like, I haven't taken damage yet. I'm sure I'm about to, because he's definitely going to Pendulum Summon. But, I hope that he can't OTK me, because I'm essentially going to have 2 defense position monsters that he has to get through. The Falco and then the Hedgehog when I bring that back. And he's probably just going to, yeah, he's going to activate Pendulum Sorcerer, so I still really don't even have to worry that much. You going to get out another Trump Witch and then Polymerization? Ooh, popping your own scale? Trump Witch and Joker. Oh, God. I have a Performapal deck, not a Pepe deck, not a Draco Pals deck, but like just a regular Performapal. I love that card, but when it's being used against me, I absolutely hate it. It's just... the +1 is like almost too much. It's almost too strong because you can just go for some crazy plays with that card. Oh, he's going into Utopia. Is he going for lightning? Yep. S39, Utopia the Lightning. Which means I'm probably not going to take it. Oh, he did that so I couldn't activate Falco's effect. Oh man, this is getting rough. I hope I draw Cycle. Because if I don't draw into Cycle or Klaus so I can search for Cycle. Ooh, Oracle Zefra. That's actually not bad either. Let me think. What can I do with Oracle Zefra? This is actually kind of difficult. I'm definitely going to activate Oracle Zefra and search for let's see who we really want. Ooh, that's exactly who we really want. I'm gonna go for Zefra Saber. What Zefra Saber is gonna let us do is Ritual Summon Trishula by using these two. Ritual Summon Trishula. Ritual Summoning lets me shuffle a monster from field to deck. No, not just yet. So with Oracle Zefra, we'll shuffle that into extra deck. We'll go ahead and banish Luster from grave so that he can't Synchro Summon. And then, oh my god, he surrendered. Yeah, he saw that it was over. Alright, that was pretty great. We'll go ahead and do, that took quite a while, so if the next one takes this long, we'll go ahead and do just one more. And then we'll move on to the deck profile for the Zefras. This guy is all 5s and he is ready to duel. Let's go ahead and do, okay, he gets to choose. Who's going first? Oh, we're going first. Okay, so we'll set that. Activate Oracle of Zefra to add let's see. It's tough deciding who to add at the very beginning. We'll go ahead and add Zefraxi. Then we will set Thuban and end turn. It's good that we opened with Thuban. He has like the highest defense of any Zefra monster. Oh, we're going against a Synchro Deck. This should be fun. These Synchro Decks, some of them can just make crazy power plays. There's that one deck. I don't even know how you build it. It's essentially just an altered version of Yusei's deck from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, where you just, through a certain string of combos, you go through your entire deck in one turn and synchro summon like 2 Quasar Dragons, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I hope that's not what we're going against, or this one's going to be over way quickly. Synchro for 6. Drill Warrior. Once per turn. That's not that bad. Yeah, for right now, we're just going to go ahead and normal to attack directly. I'm really hoping I draw a scale 7 next turn. Or at least another Oracle of Zefra so I can search for one. I run plenty of scale 7s though. Should be able to draw into one. Let's see, what does this guy do? Oh. Oh, and he just ends his turn with that? Ooh, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and Shaddoll Fusion. No. Gonna go ahead and do, that's a tough one. Let's do Window with these two. Attack with Zefraxy. Okay. Ooh, that's why he let me do that. I read that wrong. It special summons itself from Graveyard. Okay. That's fine. End phase. Hopefully he can't synchro summon anything too big. Oh, that's pretty much the equivalent of quitting. Attack. Unless he runs Battle Fader. Does he run Battle Fader? Nope. Game. Game. We win. That's great. Alright, so those were the duels. Let's go ahead and move on to a deck profile. Alright, let me sort it. Here we go. So, to kick things off, we run 2 Zefra Nui. You add a Yang or Zefra spell trap. Usually, I'll use him to get my one of my oracles in the hand. He's pretty good overall. The only problem is the 0 attack. Like, the defense is high enough to make him a decent monster, but the 0 attack just kind of kills it for me. Next we got 1 Shaddoll Beast. For the drawing, and also to have a target for Shaddoll Fusion. We run 2 Zefraxa, partially because he's a level 5, and that's really convenient for when I want to synchro, or not synchro, when I want to ritual summon Trishula, because a lot of level 4s are in this deck. So if I have him in hand or on field, I can do level 5 and a level 4 for Trishula. Or I can use him with Beast and go for 2 level 5s and do Decisive. So he's just good to have, especially since usually what I want to do is tribute him from hand and get him into the grave, because if you read the monster effect, he can special summon himself from grave. Next we got 3 Zefra Excidon. Mostly because he's a level 4 1900 monster, but also because he can destroy set cards, and that's very important. They have a set Twin Twisters, I want to get rid of that. Any set traps. He's just like an overall really good monster, especially because when you pair him up with like Altair, you can go for rank 4 plays of really easy. We got 1 Schemata. Again, just as a Shaddoll Fusion target, and for the obvious Shaddoll effects, you know, with Schemata, it's like destroy 1 monster on the field, or if it's sent to Graveyard, I can send another Shaddoll from deck to grave. We got 1 Altair. I did run 2, but you can already see it's over 40 cards. It's at 42 cards. I didn't know if running a second one was worth it. So I kept it at 1. It's good to go into an instant rank 4. We got 1 Zefra Saber. Only 1, purely because I can add him with Oracle if I really need him, and he's basically just like a 3rd ritual spell for my Necros, but he's a reusable ritual spell, which is really good. We got 2 Core, again for Shaddolls, but also because I actually I have used his monster effect before, where I special summoned a Zefra from Pendulum Zone, and when I did that, I Shaddoll Fusioned, I sent him to grave, and he special summoned, I believe it was Zefraxa from Pendulum Zone, and I was able to immediately ritual summon out my Decisive Armor, which was amazing because when I fusion summoned, I fused into Winda, so I was able to do level 5 Decisive Armor, and that was amazing. That won me the game, so I like to have 2 of these. Next we got Thubin. Really, he's another Altair target, so an instant rank 4, but also because Zefra Sidon destroys set cards, he destroys monsters, which is equally important. I run Illuminirage. It's nice to test it. I don't know that I necessarily need it. He's basically just another tuner, because Zefraxi, even though he's a reusable tuner, it's just it takes a while to get to actually see him in the game, and I want a tuner that I can just like have at any point. I know with Zefraxi there's more searchability, but it's always good to draw into a tuner. And with Zefraxi, to even become a tuner, he has to be Pendulum Summoned. This is just a worm that's always a tuner, which I thought was more convenient than having more than one Zefraxi. And then obviously here we are with the Zefraxi. We run just one of him. I basically already went over that. Now we have a Zefra and Pilica, just one, because he can special Zefras from Grave. So he's another, like, you can go into synchros like that. You can have another monster for a ritual summon. You can special summon a certain attribute of monster from Grave and go into a Shaddoll fusion. He's just generally good to have, but not so good that I need more than one. That's why he's at 1. Hedgehog, to add a Shaddoll fusion and to have a target for Shaddoll fusion. Zefra Naga, for kind of the same reason as Core. He doesn't special them, but he adds them to hand, which normally I haven't used my normal summon by that point, so I'll just go ahead and normal summon whatever I add to hand. Falco, for the obvious synchro plays and special summoning Shekanaga from Grave if I need to. Desire of Rituals, because he's just good to throw in for a Nekroz ritual, especially if I'm in a situation like I described earlier, where I have a Zefraxa and like a level 4, I can just banish him from Grave as this level 1 and go into Decisive Armor, which is awesome. The ritual monsters themselves are decisive. A lot of time I'll use him from hand, just discard to add 1,000 to a Nekroz. But his monster effect is really good too. Like, I can just banish traps once per turn, which is awesome. We got Trishula for the obvious reason, just 1 from Grave, 1 from field, 1 from hand, all banished. That's amazing, and that can be a game changer. 1 Unicorn, because he's limited to 1, otherwise I would probably run 2 or 3. He stops extra deck monster effects. And if I don't need that, like if I'm going against something like Monarchs, he's a rank 4. He can go into a rank 4. Klaus to search out Cycle. Rhoda to search out Klaus. Or any other warrior types I got. I can search out Thubin with that. I believe... No, he's a spellcaster, but I can search out Altair. 2 Shaddoll Fusion, for obvious reasons. A Dark Hole. In a perfect world, this would be a Raigeki. In fact, if you're just playing on YGO Pro, you could switch this out for a Raigeki. But I run a Dark Hole in real life because I don't have money for a Raigeki right now. But either way, this is a Pendulum deck. If you Dark Hole, you can just Pendulum summon anything that you destroyed back. 2 Cycle to get out the rituals. 3 Wavering Eyes for the crazy searchability and for matches where I go against Pendulum decks. 3 Oracle, because Oracle is just a fantastic card. You on activation, you search a Zefra, but also if you summon anything, you basically just get a bonus effect. If you ritual summon, you can shuffle a monster from field into deck. If you fusion summon, you can special a monster from your hand. Synchroing lets you choose a monster from your deck and put it on top of your deck. Usually I'll go for Zefra. And if you overlay, you can draw and then discard. Usually I'll do that if I have Zerr in my hand or if I have a Shadal in my hand, so I can discard them and get the effects. Torrential Tribute, just a staple, and then 2 Zefra Assault or Zefra Divine Strike, whichever name you prefer. This card is just really good, especially if you're going against things like Warning. I just like this card because you can just negate, and you do have to banish a Zefra from your extra deck, but that's fine. It's not that big of a cost, really. Alright, the extra deck is the staple fusions: 1 Shek, 1 Anoidalis, 1 Grista, 1 Winda. Synchros are a Leo, because Leo is just a really good synchro, honestly. He's a good staple card. Gigantic Castle, purely to be a beater. Baxia, because of that effect on summon, just shuffle 1 into deck, that's amazing. 2 Metaphys Horus, because this is honestly one of the best cards in this deck. If his synchro material, his non-tuner material, is a pendulum monster, you can take control of one of your opponent's monsters. So if your opponent only has 1 monster out, like they got a serious boss monster out, you can just sync into Metaphys Horus and take it. It's yours. It's an amazing card. Ally of Justice Cataster, just because I think it's amazing that he can destroy anything that's non-dark. I'll use this against like Cosmos. I mean, they get their Dark Destroyer out, I'm basically screwed, but all their light types, I'll use it against Boojins, use it against Monarchs when they don't have a Caius or an Erebus out. It's just a really good card. We got our Stellar Knight. We got 3 of them. We got Deltaros, so that we can, he's just the rank 4, so that we can go into these 2. Because, Diamond, you can just overlay Deltaros into him, and then Ptolemy M7, you can just overlay Diamond or Deltaros into them, and they're just all really good cards to have. I usually use them as beaters. I don't care for the effects that greatly. I usually just use them because I can use them. I like Stellar Knights a little bit. And then the last 2 are just staples. We got a Castel, and we got an Abyss Dweller. So I hope you guys enjoyed the duels and the deck profile. Let me know if you end up using this deck, either YGO Pro, real life. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. This is Monster Dust, signing off.